I got her last night and finally we get through. So the only one I'm missing is Deuce of Naya. So yeah. Finally got some Torresi. And we're gonna continue with the story now. Bye bye. Quickly. Outside the Elmo's windows, a sandy gust of wind speeds through the darkened sky. There are no Aelid's corpses here or no nauseating monsters. The endless sand are as clean as though nothing had ever happened. The helicopter slowly lands on the Elmo. The dolls open the hatch and jumped down from the chopper, while Deer follows behind them as he touches down on the Elmo. After receiving Deer's distress signal, Centauressi took Diane and the others to the beacon station where Deer was. As per our previous comms, I learned that he had come to offer assistance after 4-4 had gone missing. But by the time he arrived at their location, he found that all the signal markers in the region had been destroyed, and that Mangai security had seized control of all the roads leading in and out. In the end, he became trapped there. Fortunately, Lena had given him the Elmo's com code, so he managed to contact us after fixing a signal marker. We didn't encounter any enemies at the signal marker. The helicopter returned to the Elmo after taking Deer aboard. The dolls returned to their repair bay to rest, while Deer came to the ops room. I give him a quick once over and can't help but feel unfamiliar with his look. Well, it's been a long time since I last saw you. I didn't expect you to grow up like this. Yes, of course, I know that. That said, what's more interesting is that you're still helping out Squad 404. Is this thing really that interesting? Ah, yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. All I know is that thanks to its workshop bills, I have trouble just getting enough water to drink as it is. Be my guest. I step aside and Deer takes out a bunch of strange devices before starting work on the command console. After some banging and fiddling, I see a screen on the console's monitor that I have never seen before. What's this? Why do you ask? If that's the case, Kalina had best upgrade on her end too. So you think that Nomfa is problematic? I fall silent for a while and don't respond to Deer's words. In principle, I trust Kalina unconditionally, but she's part of Nomfa. And I can't make up my mind about them right away. After some thought, I decide to change the subject. Oh yes, you were saying that Lena asked you to come over. So you entered the yellow zone all by yourself. Saying so, Deer fiddles with the console interface and rescans for new transmission channels. The moment the rescan finishes, a shining point immediately appears on the screen. What's this? Yes, do it now. Deer connects to the transmission. A rapid, loud voice speaks over the channel. Survey Corps. Can we communicate with them? Can we backtrace their signal then? I pick up my terminal and contact Centoresi. Centoresi, I have a new assignment for you. Get ready for battle along with Monsoon Squad and meet in the hangar. I have Deer send the coordinates to the dolls and look out at the night sky. As dark and mysterious as this mission, this might be our break in finding Hyde 404. And? The helicopter takes off from the Elmo. I decide to head over to the repair bay while waiting for news. I leave the ops room after telling the Dandy Gate to keep an eye on the Elmo's status and its surroundings. Deer follows me down too. When we enter the repair bay, we see Mailing performing the final adjustments on Groza. while the other dolls keep her company. Yup, power things. Frolic immediately shuts up when she realizes what's going on and pushes Nemesis and Bellplay out of the room. After the dolls leave the room, Rosa sits up on the diagnostic slab. Rosa, are you alright? Yeah, things were really close out there. Mei-Ling, how is leader's frame? That's good to hear. After seeing that Rosa is alright, I managed to calm down at last. I stepped aside to make room for Deer, then introduced him to Rosa and Mei-Ling. This is Mei-Ling, she's the Elmo's chief engineer. Rosa is the leader of the Elmo's doll squad. Deer nods to them. Mei-Ling returns the nod a little timidly. And this is Deer. I guess you could call him 4-4s. Rosa nods to Deer. For some reason, Rosa seems to be acting strangely. Suddenly, Deer's eyes light up and he excitedly rushes over to the slab behind Rosa. Puzzled, I follow his movement with my eyes and see him practically skip over to where Sextans is lying. Sextan's frame has been badly damaged. Just about all her exposed skin has been destroyed, and her body is also badly deformed. You know this is a third generation doll? Oh, I just picked her up by accident. What? Well, it's a long story. We fought her during a previous mission, and then she suddenly showed up near the Elmo. We dragged her on board after we smacked her around for a bit. Well, not really. There seemed to be something wrong with her when we ran into her. Both her perceptions and memories were confused. Maybe you could help me take a look at her? I coughed to hide my awkwardness. Is there a cheap way to do it? Well, you've got a chance now. Deer pulls out his toolbox and produces a plethora of instruments I have never seen before. After plugging all manner of cables into Sextant's access port, Deer's instruments began to flash and make noises. Her brain was pretty much mush when we met her. Upon seeing that, we're discussing Sexton's, Mailing helps Groza off her slab and walks over to me. Why did you take that risk? I see. So did you make any progress? I see. Dear, I need the information in her neural cloud. Please help me fix her neural cloud as best you can. Deer takes out another little electronic device and hooks it up to several small cables from Sextan's head. After a while, the connections crackle and throw off sparks, even setting the device Deer is holding on fire. How is it? Deer narrows his eyes and carefully studies an almost destroyed portion of Sextan's epidermal layer. So is something wrong? Is there any material you haven't seen before? Get to the point. What is it? Deer thinks for a moment, then reaches into his toolbox and takes out something that looks like a microscope. He looks for a place on Sextan's body, then sets it up and calls me over. What is this? It looks like some kind of biological tissue, or rather some kind of cells. That's a little surprising. I think about what Deer is saying, and then I suddenly sense someone staring at me. When I turned around, I suddenly noticed a little figure standing in the doorway. There is the pitter-patter of footsteps, and then Coffin appears from the doorway as well, grabbing the arm of the little figure. Melanie? Upon hearing my words, Melanie reflexively backs away. Look, it's a really long wait, did he say? Who? Melanie backs away even further. Colvin, what were the results of her checkup? Melanie ignores the exchange between Colvin and me. She raises her hand and points to the doll behind me before addressing me directly. That doll? I pointed to Sextans. You mean her? Melanie nods. Sure, I guess. Melanie approaches us. Suddenly, a chill runs down my spine, and my hand reflexively reaches for the gun at my waist. Upon realizing what I'm doing, I quickly turn aside so she doesn't see me and fold my arms across my chest. She walks up to Sextans and looks her up and down. Finally, her gaze settles on the position where we discovered the signs of cellular fusion. Knew what? Have you seen her before? Melanie's words make me stiffen up. Do you know what these signs of fusion are? Fusion cell structures? Deer quickly checks on Sextans condition. Rosa walks up in front of me and reflexively takes up a defensive position, while Colvin pulls Mailing and Melanie away. Help prepare, huh? It's like your neural cloud is rebooting. Deer stares incredulously at the instruments he's holding while Rosa warily raises her gun and points it at Sextans while shouting to Colvin. Colvin drags Mailing and Melanie outside. Melanie keeps looking back as she goes. After Colvin closes the door behind her, I return my attention to Sextans. Can you repair her neurocloud? Backup logs while we're at it? Oh. Texans opens her eyes but remains still. She looks at me, her eyes filled with confusion. Your master? Texans walks toward me and extends a hand. I reflexively reach out to take it, but Groza blocks me. Deer quickly works on his instruments, and then he suddenly chuckles. What do you mean? Does that mean anything? I glance at Groza. She doesn't look at me. Her gun is still trained on Sextans. Oh. I nod and Deer immediately begins tapping away on his touchscreen. Sexton's eyes briefly flash. Soon Deer puts his instruments down and confidently addresses me. Something neat? Are you saying that anything the key regards as a friendly is actually an enemy to us? So the third gen dolls are also linked to Mangai security. She was one who's tracking everybody. Yeah. I nod, then my terminal suddenly rings. Loud and clear. Go ahead. Can you send him back to the Elmo for treatment? Diane, what is that trooper's condition? Patch him in. We're bounty hunters who were passing by and pick up your distress signal. Can you tell me what happened to you? I knew it. Understood. We will help you. Santoresi, please bury them. Let them rest in peace. Also, bring their dog tags back to the Elmo. I end the transmission and sigh heavily. I guessed that things would turn out this way. But I still can't but feel a little sad for those soldiers. Dear, you said Hyde 404 was accompanying the survey corps, right? So the base station they struggled to build should be nearby. Have sextants prepare to backtrace them. Rosa, take our remaining dolls. Use sextants as a guide to find Hyde 404. We have to find them. We can't waste what those soldiers spent their lives to protect.